window. There he goes again, pointing Lapsevich and Don Thompson Jr., his teammate, by. So definitely J.R. Fitzpatrick aware of where the leaders are.
What do you think, Billy? He's got the brakes to go here?
Oh, absolutely. He's controlled his equipment really well since all that contact's behind us. He's probably picking up a car length and a half every lap over Bowles.
And in fact, this is good for him, I'm thinking, because if he's not under pressure, he doesn't have to go as deep, right?
Now he lifts early, and what we usually talk about road racing is easy in and hard off. Now he can set it down a little gentler. He's not under attack. Keep the tires cool, keep the brakes cool, and then burn that thing off the corner with horsepower like he did just right there.
Field is spreading out a little bit. It's Ranger followed by Bowles, Lapsevich, Thompson, and Robin Buck in that green car is moved up now into fifth, followed by Simone.
And how much of it now is it Ranger just being quick, Bowles not being as quick, or is it Bowles just kind of waiting to see maybe the 27 is burning up his stuff?
Well, you got to think that they're both pretty, smart inside the race car. One's floating, one's watching, and then, Bowles will pick up the pace, Andrew will pick up the pace. It's a cat and mouse situation. We'll run as hard as we need to run and save it for the end.
Now you can see Lapsevich opened up a little bit of a gap that lap over the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. So definitely the top 5 starting to spread gaps amongst themselves after we ran so tightly knit for the first real 15 laps of this race.
Now they're about a second and a half or so off their qualifying time. You saw the 1:46 and change. It was Andrew Ranger at 1:45, almost even when he qualified on pole, his 4th pole of the season.
Yeah. I don't think they're coasting by any stretch, but right now I'm thinking if I'm a crew chief, I'm standing on top of the pit box telling my driver, if you've got something for him, you better go get it right now.
16 laps down of a scheduled 23, and they aren't coasting because the fastest lap, actually the last lap time for Andrew Ranger, 1:46.48, so that is still below the track record set by Kerry Mixon. A big flyer now.
Anthony Simone got a big problem underneath the hood. That was a lot of fire and smoke. That looked like oil fire, actually, so maybe an engine problem, an oil line problem, and it hit the header and turned into flame.
And caution flag is there.
Chevrolet of Simone out of Holland Landing in lots of trouble coming out of the Dodge hairpin. And so we are under caution again. And we've seen this yellow flag lots today here in Montreal.
Still lots of smoke coming out from underneath that automobile. It certainly looks like oil smoke. An engine failure here today for Anthony Simone.
And disappointing for Simone. He was second in Edmonton, as we mentioned. Last year had a good run, was runner-up in Mossport, runner-up in Trois-Rivières. Good road racer, but a disappointing finish for Anthony Simone.
Absolutely. I was talking to Anthony in the pits prior to the race, and we were mentioning, actually, oddly enough, of how good his motor program was this year. He's like, you know what, we haven't had any luck, touch wood, and we both touch wood, unfortunately not the right wood for Anthony Simone, because it appears as though that good string of motor luck is gone.
And you saw the rescue crew member saying, "Are you all right?" And he nodded, "Yes, I am. I'm okay." But Simone, who was in that terrific battle and did that ballet, the double spin with Robin Buck earlier, and just blows up here.
Yeah, under downshifting and braking, put some RPM to the motor, and it probably broke a rod and put it outside of the motor, and that puts a big old window in the side of it, and all the oil comes out, gets on the headers, and that's where the fire came from.
I never like to see the insides of the motor from the outside.
Now, they're not supposed to have inspection holes in them.
So an unfortunate end to Anthony Simone, who was running really, really very strong here in Montreal, up inside the top 10 all day.
Listen to the crowd. This is wonderful. I marveled at it yesterday. They're so appreciative. They're knowledgeable here in Montreal. In fact, right out throughout Quebec, when you go to Trois-Rivières to see the racing, they love their racing, both open wheel and stock car. And a great crowd on hand here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We're under caution. Andrew Ranger is your leader of the NAPA Autopro 100. Well, this is something you can do when you're here in Montreal and his ride, the Rapids. How'd you like that? Sunday Night Baseball continues tonight on TSN2 as the Boston Red Sox take on Tampa Bay, both in the playoff race for that wild card. Coverage begins exclusively on TSN2 at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hey, that's just Buck and Simone. We saw that earlier.
Turn 10 on the water.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's a lot of fun, though, jet boating on the Lachine Rapids here in Montreal. It's Definitely a good time, but be prepared to get wet.
The lights on the pace car continue to flash. We are under caution again after Anthony Simone blew up his RX-100 Chevrolet just coming into turn 10. So there's a lot of cleanup to be done, but this will be interesting to see how, once again, Bowles and Rangers start on that front row.
Well, turn on the music, pick a dancing partner. She's your last chance to dance. This is where it gets interesting. Who's going to get aggressive? We've got a handful of laps left to go for the win. Jason Bowles not running for the points. Andrew Ranger not running for the points. This is all about bragging rights.
And two drivers who are, David, running for points. DJ Kennington, we saw him in pit lane having to cut away things, working on the car himself. He's back out and running, currently listed 30th. J.R. Fitzpatrick is currently in 25th. So you've got your 2 points leaders back in the field, Todd, but at least they're out and running.
Yes, and that's exactly it. Try to get as many points as you can with the poor hand that you've been dealt today. This latest caution now closes up the field once again and gives Jason Bowles the opportunity. He was unable to get out on the track himself. Andrew was running away from him. He couldn't close the gap. The times were similar, but he just couldn't make up any ground. The caution does that. Now the crew has a smile on their face. We've got the opportunity to get back out in front of Andrew Ranger. Remember, the first couple of laps after a restart or the initial start of this race, Andrew's tire pressures are a little bit lower, takes him a little longer to come up, and the back end tends to skid just a little bit. It might just be enough for Jason Bowles to get around him and get that victory he's looking for in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series.
I'll be interested to see. I mean, their lap times, Billy, were about a second apart before the caution. So it'll be interesting to see if now, and J.R. Fitzpatrick, of course, has been waived by the pace car. He gets that lucky spot, so he'll have a chance to get all the way around and pick up his lap.
Yeah, candidate for the VTEC Free Pass Award here today as well. But interesting to note, the 27 of Andrew Ranger, a Dodge has never won here in Montreal in 3 tries.
Wow, that'll be something to bring Mopar its first win here. Lap times, Vic, 146.249 and 146.285 between Bowles and Ranger, their last time by under green. So even though there was a big difference on the racetrack between them, the lap times very, very similar. Bowles is going to get one shot at him, Vic, down this into that braking zone in turn 1. That's his shot. If he can get down in there, get the thing stopped, get him pinched off, don't let Ranger get off the corner ahead of him. That's his one opportunity. If Ranger gets ahead, say Levy, he's done.
We're on 17 here, and the lights are out, so we will go green. So is this the time you make the move, or do you wait and hope that you might get another chance?
Right now, as I said, Vic, this is his only opportunity. If Ranger gets into clean air and gets in front of him, I don't think he's got a shot at him. So he's got to get it done under braking going into 1.
You saw Simone's car is up and on the lift, and as soon as the field passes, they will move the tow truck away, and we'll be underway to complete lap 18.
Now, when Bowles started up alongside Andrew Ranger for one of the restarts early in the race, he really got on it. He kept pace with the 27 going down into turn number 1. Lapsevich wasn't able to do so off the hop, and that allowed Ranger to get out in front and in turn got away from the 11 of Bowles. But it'll be interesting to see if Bowles can anticipate again where the 27 is going to hit the gas and if he can keep pace. But, you know, this is mind games right now down this back straightaway.
And again, we'll point out, they don't go to the start-finish line to start. They have those 2 cones, fluorescent cones, about halfway down the straight, Billy. And it's in the control of Andrew Ranger.
The leader, by being the leader, has the right to start the race at his pace and when he wants, within reason of the 2 cones. Once they get to the 2 cones, if he's lazy, the second place driver can get.
As you look back from the car of number 11, Jason Bowles, towards Don Thompson.
That's a cool relationship
Junior.
between Bowles, the 11 team with Race with Rusty, a new driving experience, and that seems to be growing.
All right, watch for those cones. You see them on the left? Watch for Ranger. He's on the right. Watch for Bowles on the left.
And we're at it. Here we go, up through the gearbox, heading for turn 1.
And once again, the early jump is for Andrew Ranger. They make that slight little right-hander, and once again, he's got him. It's just he's able to get the power down so much more cleanly.
Bowles checked up trying to make the crossover move, and it cost him a couple car lengths.
A couple cars through the grass there in 1 and 2, and you did see Bowles just couldn't quite keep pace with the 27 going into 1, and here's Dumoulin doing some defensive driving as the 23 of Jeff Lapsevich gets into the back of him.
Well, he was able to sneak through on the restart, and he got in front of the 23 of Lapsevich. Lapsevich is a much faster race car, but Dumoulin doing an awesome job here today.
Louis